when we think of business, we think of service because it's in our DNA from the history. And they'll think that because they can do the service job, that means they like all of the money that you desire to have right now that you don't have, it's in somebody else's pocket. If you create a solution for them and then you connect with them, a lot of those people will, guess what they'll do? They'll happily hand it over. How cool is that? And then 3, contribute. Contribute to someone. Maybe a whole bunch of someones. I love the opportunity to give to other people. God blesses you. Hello, YouTube. My name is Myron Golden, and I want to share the psychology of money. Rich, poor, or middle class. Lawnmowers and they start a landscaping service, or they go out and buy some buckets and some mops and they start a cleaning service. What you should do instead is you should figure out how to create a system. I love what W. Edwards Deming said. He said, systems under which people work account for 90% of the failure. Therefore, the key to success in any endeavor is to perfect the system. Oh, okay, cool, got it. So what do I want to do? You don't want to be this guy. You want to be this guy. You want to be OS. OS, what's that? Own a system. What's a system? A system is some mechanism that you use that makes you money every month. Like, did you know that you could write a Kindle book a month? If you wrote one Kindle book a month, you could eventually get that Kindle book making you $1,000, right? So you're selling $1,000 worth of that Kindle book every month. You get, by the end of 12 months, you got 12 books. Congratulations, you got a business. You got a system that's paying you $12,000 a month. If you have a membership site, and the membership site costs you $97, cost your members $97 a month, you go out and you get 200 members, you're making $20,000 a month. So think from a perspective of what kind of systems can I create that will pay me for the rest of my life. This is what a real business owner owns. A real business owner owns systems. So we have systems in place where we have hundreds and to the distribution age. Why? Because of the machines we were creating. Isn't it interesting to you? It's interesting to me. Isn't it interesting to you that every economic era in the past created the economic era that replaced it? Oh, snap. And so in the distribution age, outlets equaled wealth. And when outlets equal wealth, the people who own the outlets own the wealth. And guess what was created during the distribution age? Franchising was created in the distribution age. What else? Discount stores, right? Discount stores were created. What else? Malls were created. What else? Infomercials were created. And people created millions and millions of generation than the children of light. I'm going to tell you, one of the biggest problems Christians have that are keeping them broke as a joke and ready to choke. You're trying to make a living in the past the way things used to work, and they don't work like that no more. I know this is helping somebody. It ain't just helping me. Well, guess what? 2008 to, I don't know. Now, before we get to 2008, what did y'all notice about all those economic eras? Did you notice from the beginning? This lasted for that lasted for a couple of decades. Okay, this lasted for thousands of years. This lasted for hundreds of years. This lasted for a couple of decades. This lasted for 16 years. This lasted for 9 years. This lasted for 5 years. Every economic era is getting shorter. Until when? Until 2008. What happened in 2008? What came out in 2008 that impacted the world in such a great way that it literally shook the economic landscape? It's the greatest economic era that's ever existed, and the first economic era in world history that's lasted. Passage of scripture in John 21 this week. I'm going to read probably 10 verses, starting in verse 11. This is a story y'all are familiar with, I'm sure. You are here because you have a business and you desire to grow that business exponentially. You don't want to grow it linearly. You don't want to grow it incrementally, but you want to grow it exponentially end over end. Well, there are 3 functions of business. If you're focused on the wrong function, your business won't grow. So what are the three functions of business? Function number one of business is innovation. Function number one, innovation. What is innovation? Innovation is when you look out into the world and you see that people have a problem and you understand a solution for that problem. You create, invent a solution for that problem. Innovation is when you you develop, invent, create, or uncover a solution that the marketplace is screaming for. Sometimes they don't even know they're screaming for it. Like, we didn't know we were screaming for an iPhone until Steve Jobs invented it, right? So the marketplace sometimes doesn't even know. They just know they have a problem, and they may not be able to put it in words. Like, innovation is like, it's like when you have a baby and the baby's crying and you have to try to figure out why the baby's crying. The marketplace is like the baby, and the baby's crying, but the baby doesn't know why the baby's crying. And even if the baby does know why the baby's crying, the baby can't tell you. So you have to innovate. You have to innovate. Look at the problem. Look at the situation. Look at what's missing. Find gaping holes in the marketplace, and you need to create solutions that will fill those holes. And what's fascinating is everybody's looking for answers. You're looking for answers I might be able to solve. You're looking for answers I might have. I'm looking for answers you might have. And the people that show up in the marketplace with those answers that are the most elegant and the most clearly described will be the people who win the lion's share of that business. So the first function of business is innovation. The second function of business is marketing. And when I say marketing, I'm going to include sales as a subset of that. So marketing, what is marketing? Marketing is the art and science of discovering and developing in other people a desire for more and more of your product, your service, or your opportunity. And I know I said that really fast, so I'm going to say it again. Marketing is the art and science of discovering and developing in other people a desire for more and more of your product, your service, or your opportunity. Now, when I say marketing is the art and science, the art of marketing is the part that people feel. It's the part that makes people smile. It's the part that makes people say, I don't know, there's something about it. I really like it. That's the art of marketing. The art of marketing is when you are tapping into human nature and human emotions, and you're tapping into what people feel like, that maybe the sounds that they like to hear that make them feel good. Maybe it's the sights, the colors, the fonts, all of that stuff is part of the art of marketing. What is the science? The science of marketing is it's the formulas, it's the patterns, it's the research, it's all of the things that you do that can be measured. Like, you can't measure the this is how good somebody feels when they see the color yellow mixed with the color, like, on top of the color blue. You can't measure that. That's art. But you can measure how many presentations does one have to do before they make a sale. That's the science. You can measure how many people do I have to put my message in front of before somebody gives me their name and email address. You can measure that, right? So marketing is both art and science. And what happens is an artist will get involved in business and they will think it's all about the art. And a scientist will get involved in business and they'll think it's all about the science. But it's not all about either one. It's all about both. In fact, people buy, and you've probably heard me say this once or twice, but people buy for one reason only. That's because they feel like it. In fact, human beings, I believe, are singularly motivated. What does that mean? I believe people do things for one reason only. That's because they feel like it. And so your job as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a solution creator, is to help people create an environment that makes people feel like buying your solution. Now, after you create the environment that makes them feel like buying it, that's the art, then you give them some logical reasons to justify the feeling that they have so that they actually hand over the money. That's the science. So marketing is the art and science of discovering. Now, most people think that marketing is handing out information. It's about disseminating information. It's about handing out flyers. That's not marketing. That's promotion, but it's not marketing. Marketing is not giving out information. Marketing is gathering information. It's the market research, right? It's the art and science of discovering what in other people a desire for what you have. So here's what's really fascinating to me. People say, Myron, where do I find people to sell my stuff to? You're asking the wrong question. That's always the wrong question. Where do I find people but I got this really great thing that I've innovated, that I've invented. Where do I find people to sell this to? You're asking the wrong question. You should be asking the question, how do I make myself findable for people who already want to buy what I already want to sell? That's a better question, because there are right now hundreds, maybe thousands, maybe tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, potentially millions, potentially tens of millions, potentially hundreds of millions of people in the world who would already love to buy what you'd already love to sell if they only knew you existed. and they can't find you. So you know what they do? They buy from the person they can find. How many of y'all tracking? Wave at me, my peeps. Okay, so good. So what we want to do is we want to make sure when we're innovating, we're using the art and science of discovering. We're discovering in other people. We're out in the marketplace looking for holes in the marketplace. You want a scientific tip right now? Here's a tip for you. There's a website called Answer the Public, right? So if you go to answerthepublic.com, it shows you questions people are asking about a specific topic. You go out and you figure out the answers to those questions, and then you go create a YouTube video. Then you go create an Instagram post. Then you go create a Facebook post. Then you go create a tweet that solves that problem for people, right? So it's the art and science of discovering. But after you discover the problem, now you've got to develop a solution. So it's the art and science of discovering and developing, right? You develop the solution, and then you develop a more intense desire in the people that you found that have that desire. You intensify their desire to have your solution. So it's the art and science of discovering and developing where? In other people, a desire for your product, your service, or your opportunity. Now, when I say they desire your product, your service, or opportunity, don't be deceived by that. It's not really your product they desire. It's not really your service they desire. It's not really your opportunity. It's the solution that product, service, or opportunity provides for them. That's really what they're looking for. So marketing is the art and science of discovering and developing in other people a desire for more and more of your product, your service, or your opportunity. What's the third function of business? The third function of business is money management. Say, Myron, money management. What's that? Money management is managing the cash flow of your business so the outgo does not exceed the income, so the upkeep does not become the downfall. And I see it all the time. You see people that what they do is they start a business, they have a little bit of success, they go blow a whole bunch of money on something they didn't need. And because most people, it's really interesting. I believe the number one reason business owners mismanage money is because nobody ever taught them how to think negative when things are positive. I bet you weren't expecting me to say that, were you? Say, what do you mean that nobody ever taught them not to think positive, to think negative when things are positive? See, what happens is most people think winter when it's winter. They think summer when it's summer. They think good thoughts when things are good. They think bad thoughts when things are bad. And we need to flip the script. We need to be thinking about anticipating the day when it's really, really good. I need to be anticipating the day when it's not going to be this good. I need to be preparing for the day when it's not going to be this good. I need to be getting my mind wrapped around, okay, it's good right now, but just because it's good right now doesn't mean it's always going to be good, because it's like all I have to do is be alive for more than a couple of decades to know that good times don't last always, and neither do bad times, right? And so it's really interesting. King Solomon, the wisest, wealthiest man who ever lived, here's what he said. He said, go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider. We've been taught a lot of lies around money. And some of y'all probably heard some of these lies. One of the lies we've heard, or they know it's not true and they're deceiving people, or they are just saying something they heard somebody say and they've never really thought about it. So time is not money. Time is not money. This is a lie. Okay. So what's the truth? The truth is this. That was terrible. Okay. Time is greater than money. Time is more valuable than money. It's better than money. It's greater than money. Why? Because if you run out of money, you can always get more. But if you run out of time, somebody else's money, right? And so that's always like a bad idea. So instead of doing that, maybe I should do what the scripture teaches. I don't know. Does the scripture say anything about time and money? Maybe. Oh, I think it does. Ephesians chapter 5, verse number 20. I think it says something like, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Oh, there it is. Redeeming the time. And go look it up. Don't take my word for it. Here's what the word redeem means. Redeem means to buy back. Old as Methuselah by the time I save up $1 million at $100 a month. So for me, now for you, this may be the plan. But for me, this is not the plan. Okay? So maybe I should do better than that. Maybe I should save $1,000 a month. Okay, if I can save $1,000 a month, then it'll only take me 83.3 years. Well, I don't know how old you're going to be in 83.3 years, but I'm going to be 144.3. And yes, it'll still be $1 million, but I'm going to be so tired I won't have any energy to enjoy it, right? At 144 0.3, right? So to me, seems reasonable. So if you're $100 a month, if you all you need is 50 members, and you are a virtual millionaire. How awesome is that? 50 members. 50. I've got a friend. He's got a membership site. He charges $80 a month. He's got 7,000 members. How much is that? A lot. It's $560,000 a month. $560,000 a month. Right, exactly. That is a wow, right? And it's even a backwards wow, like wow. Right? It's upside down. Mom wow, right? It's